With Plumber it will be possible to perform the selection of centrifugal pumping equipment, according to the water networks you are designing in the program. Therefore, looking to make this calculation and selection process as practical as possible for you as a designer, we have incorporated in this version some of the features that are already included in our program pumps. This way you will find, when going to the Configuration tab, Devices panel, the button that gives access to the Pumps Manager, from which it is possible to access the database of characteristics curves of the program. The idea here is that you can have, based on the centrifugal pumps models available in your country, a library of characteristics curves that you can use to make the most approximate selection of the equipment that would serve the water networks in your projects. You will then see the list of available models, and for each model, as you make the change here, you can access the properties of its characteristic curves and, of course, have a view of the corresponding graph. Note that it is not only possible to see the pumping head curve against flow in this graph, but, as you change these options up here, you can access the curves of efficiency, required net positive suction head, and of power. In this manager it is possible to create new pump models in several ways, as you can see when you click the New button. There is the option of creating a new pump by entering the data of its operation curves manually. By selecting it and pressing OK, you can then enter name, rotational speed and, of course, the corresponding characteristic values. Then you have three options to create the head, efficiency, and power curves automatically by following the theoretical curve conditions for radial, axial, or mixed flow pumps. In this case, when you select any of these three options, you will see that, here at the right of the dialog, the fields are shown so that you enter the value that the respective curve would have, at the best efficiency point and from which the other points will be generated. Keep in mind that, in this case, NPSHR values are not automatically generated because this property depends on the specific model and pump manufacturer, requiring then that you specify them manually, if they are important in your selection. Finally, there is the option to create the characteristic curve by polynomial adjustment of 3 points, which you must enter in these fields on the right. In any case, it is important that, after any modification, click on the Save button to ensure that the changes are reflected in the database. Another way to create characteristic curves in the database is by copying the characteristics of some of the existing models. That is, you select the model to be copied from the list, and click this button to create the respective copy. Once the copy is made, you must, at least, modify the name in such a way that you can recognize the model later. This copying tool is useful in case you want to evaluate the behavior of the same pump model for different rotational speeds. Note that the copied curve corresponds to the original model for 900 revolutions per minute. Suppose we want to determine the operating curve for about 750 revolutions per minute. You must then press this button and enter the value of the new speed. By clicking OK, and using the pump's laws of similarity, the program will automatically generate the characteristic curves of the model at this new speed. In later videos we will show you how useful this can be in your analysis and pump selection process. Finally, there is the button that will allow you to permanently delete the model that is active in the manager. If the model is assigned to a pumping pipe, in a pump group in the project, You will see a message similar to this in which you are warned that if you continue, the pumping pipe with the assigned model will also be removed from the project. Finally, it is important to bear in mind that this list of pumps will remain active for each and every one of the projects that you generate in PLUMBER, so you can reuse the models that you create in your analyses in a practical way.